And we will begin with Penn Trafford as the Warriors were dominant against Woodland Hills, punctuated by the final play of the first half as nasty Nolan Morasti produced a pick six to put PT up 42-7 at the break. Myself, Sean Myers, and the one and only Mark Kotarski captioned the video. Third and 3. This one just heaved up. It is intercepted, and this could go back the other way. And Morasti's going to take it 75 yards on a pick six. They brought some pressure. Unfazed. Walter got backwards off balance. Watch this. That's bad news when you're throwing it off your heels in a situation. Everybody's going to the end zone, and Morasti kicking it up. Look at him running. What do you think there? Maybe 78 yards, 79 yards? Something in that vicinity. And how about Penn Trafford scoring twice with triple zeros on the clock? They score on the final play of the first quarter. They score here on a 78-yard pick six on the final play of the first half.
Our boy, Sean, Dan Miller's boy, Nasty Morasti with a pick six. How about his dad was standing beside us pretty much the entire game. He usually is up in the press box as a principal at one of the elementary schools in McCullough at Penn Trafford. And I look over at him and just stone-faced. I'm sure he was excited, but one of those dads is like, all right, it's expected. And I said, why did they throw to that Morasti kid? And he just started laughing. But he's certainly a big part of this PT team, especially with Jake Otto's, health kind of in question right now.
Game time decision is the latest that I heard on Otto.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a good thing. It's like we were worried about him like we are TJ Watt. So I think Watt's going to be out a little longer, hopefully, than Jake.
Yeah, but nonetheless, they certainly showed that they have other players who can step up in a big, big way. We'll continue plays of the week with Norwin, and it's called a Hail Mary because it takes a bit of a prayer. But for Jackson Pons, he answered that prayer for the Knights on the final play of the first half. He caught a heave from Tristan Tavares to tie the score against Fox Chapel heading into the locker room. Dave Franzak, who is very excited about this play, and Tim McCabe detail.
There's the Hail Mary set up on the right, one guy to the left. Pass protection should not be a problem.
And rolling right. And unfortunately, Tim, it is a problem. Tavares gets it to the end zone. Jump ball. Touchdown, Norwin! Jackson Pons. Touchdown. Talk about the touch when you need it, Tim.
Pons comes up with it. He threw it, I think, as far as he could.
Listen to this crowd, Tim.
In the corner of the end zone to come down with that ball. Castle in for the extra point and the lead.
Great to see Jackson Pons coming up with a huge catch there, man. He's been moved around so much. We saw him play quarterback, and I guess the last couple of games he's been at receiver for the most part. So great to see him make that play. And Dave Franzak, he was all over it. I said earlier, he texted me immediately. He's like, hey, you're going to want to check and see what happened at the end of the half, and I want to be on plays of the week this week. So here you are, Franny.
Sometimes teams put their best athlete at quarterback, but the way that he's catching the ball, Jackson Pons, I think, is assuring that he's going to stay at receiver for the foreseeable future. Terrific catch. Well-deserving of a spot on Plays of the Week. We continue with Southmoreland. The Scotties, they got creative early in their win against Derry area as Caden Matthews took a handoff. He then threw it to Wyatt Richter in the end zone to stake Southmoreland to the first quarter advantage, as called by John Flickinger and Bob Lisinski.
Keffer is split all the way to the far side of the field, tight end right, two setbacks in the backfield, along with Caden Matthews, a freshman who's into the lineup. And Matthews has it. He can throw it. He's a backup quarterback, and he throws it into the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown by Wyatt Richter. So they brought the freshman quarterback into the game, and they used him as just that, a quarterback. And Matthews puts it into the hands of Richter for the score. All he had to do was get it out there. Richter was wide open. He beat Robinson on the play badly. And that's a touchdown, and it's 6-0. Scotties.
The offensive genius that is Tim Bukowski. It's his background. He's an offensive guy. Dialed up something to maybe pull one over on Mike Arone's squad. So, yeah, you have a talented quarterback and a talented receiver, the Keffer guys. You think they're going to be involved instead? You call on your backup quarterback to take the handoff. So something that every coach is now going to have to prepare for as they go against the Scotties going forward. So well-deserved first victory again for Coach Bukowski. We continue plays of the week. In that same game, we'll talk about Derry area as the Trojans, well, they remained winless, but their offensive contributed, and it gave reasons for optimism as a sophomore connection, Blake Revore, the quarterback, and receiver Damari Robinson hooked up on a long touchdown in the fourth to put them within 2 scores, as detailed once again by John and Bob.
Vikings are going to be tough this year. I mean, I know they had a tough loss earlier as Damari in space. And there goes Damari accelerating inside the 30, the 20, the 10, and a Trojan touchdown. You get this young man in space and watch him go. And he did right there, and the Trojans are on the board again.
43 yards to Robinson. Nice run there, nice cut. Like you said, John, you get him out there in the open, and he sure has the speed to make it happen, and he sure did there to bring the Trojans back within 2 touchdowns. There you're seeing Reap, a nice move there at the end.
And he woke the fire company up out there. They were sleeping in those trucks, and now they're blaring their sirens here on Salute Your Heroes Night. Nice play there.
We went into the season thinking that it was going to be Ahmad Ward that was going to have to do it all on offense, but it looks like that the quarterback and receivers have stepped up a little bit for the Trojans the last couple of weeks. Blake Revore, Damari Robinson. So good signs offensively for the Trojans as they continue to try to get back more competitive.
Well, and what's really exciting is, these guys are younger guys, talking about Damari Robinson, Ahmad Ward. I know he was banged up a little bit in the game. Couldn't find any traction in that second half because of it, but those are both underclassmen, and so that's good when you're trying to build up this program. Good to see some of the young guys really contributing in that game, even though it was a loss.
Yeah, I don't think the Trojans had much luck at all through the air last year, so they've already made great strides in that regard. Well, you could say the same about our next team, Hempfield area, as the Spartans ultimately won convincingly, but it was a battle early against Greater Latrobe. They created some separation, though, in the second quarter. It was Ian Tufts hauled in a Jake Phillips pass to put them ahead 28-14, with Jack Ridenauer and Roger Downs painting that picture.
And 2 receivers to either side of Phillips. 4:18 to play in the second. Phillips looking towards his left, steps up in the pocket, throws, and it's caught! Touchdown, Spartans! Ian Tufts reels it in, and another score put on the board for Hempfield.
Nice job with the feet with Ian Tufts near the back of the end zone. Great concentration. Very, very good coverage by the Wildcat defender. However, good catch, good throw, good defense results in a touchdown for the Spartans.
Beautiful throw by Jake Phillips, able to thread the needle. He did pick up his first interception of the season earlier in this game, but he has clearly redeemed himself since.
Well, we heard from Jack before. He said Ian Tufts, that's a guy who needs more recognition. He's certainly going to get it. He continues to put up big numbers all season long. One of the top receivers again this week. And, it's a pick your poison when you're trying to defend that Spartans team now.
Yeah, and Phillips can run a little bit too, don't forget. So, you're worrying about Geno Caesar, you're worrying about Ian Tufts, Eli Benikonski. Really, they do have some weapons on there. And, of course, they give the diplomatic answer. You talk to Phillips, talk to Caesar. They want to start it with the guys up front, the offensive line. So everything's clicking right now for Hempfield. We'll see if that continues this week against a really good Shaler team.
And we conclude plays of the week. Well, we had to conclude it with this next announcer. Franklin Regional, and dubbed Mr. Electricity by Jonathan Whaley. Receiver Aiden Hudock, he shocked Connellsville less than a minute into the game. His long reception from Roman Sarnick, who we're going to hear from in a bit, put the Panthers ahead in the opening minute, as called by the one and only JW.
Now from the shotgun, dropping back, pump fake, now looking, going down the sideline. He's got a man open. Is it there? Yes, it's caught. He's down the 20 to the 10, 5. Mr. Electricity shows what he's all about. If on cue, let's listen to the broadcast on his headset. That'll be like a 65-yard scoring play. That same play was the first pass of the game last week. They didn't convert. Aiden was open. Roman overthrew him. That time he didn't. He dropped it right in the bucket. And Mr. Electricity does what he does best. Run wild. 6-0 in favor of the Panthers.
Mr. Electricity, that is
man.
what's the best JW nickname that you remember?
Oh, there are
Commissioner always stands out to me, Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon was the one. The Great Dane Brown, former Franklin Regional running back. Oh man, there were a couple. You know what he does the best is like Seton Hill women's volleyball. There were a few there too, and that off the top of my head I can't think. But yeah, Great Dane was a good one for Franklin Regional.
Where does Mr. Electricity rank?
I don't know. That's pretty good. That's pretty. And you know what? He doesn't reuse things either. Like he comes up with something new. I think for his favorite players for sure.
Well, we're gonna have puns for a long, long time with that, Mr. Electricity. So I think that's a fitting way to wrap up this week's installment of Plays of the Week.